Just testing mic. All right. Hello, everyone. This is Golden God, aka Brazen Charlie Arlinson. I am streaming the Outrider Cup match between Justin Desai, All Stars 97, and Miguel. They're playing Bring Him Before Me and Let the Wookiee Win. So it should start in just a second. In 84. There we go. Europe is currently up 5-4, so any loss by Europe or loss by the US makes it an even game, and I believe there's a showdown match between the two captains. Someone's gonna have to correct me if I'm wrong on that one, but this is the wrong game. All right. Sure, okay. So you can see in here, awesome. Hello, everyone. Bill says that it doesn't have to be the captains, so yeah, so Bring Him Before Me versus Let the Wookiee Win with Chief Chirpa's Hut start. Kind of. So one way you can build Let the Wookiee Win is you play the new Funeral Pyre, which lets you play the Rebel Scouts and the Defensive Shield. But he's not going that way. So Luke is going to get captured if he's with Vader. This matchup for us seems pretty bad because you have 5 Lukes in your deck and he just gets captured. You can just put another side out and deploy Luke there from your reserve deck. You don't get the bonus, but Luke coming back from your reserve deck is pretty nice. So every turn or from wherever. And then they use a Sith probe droid or whatever, or they shuffle Vader over to Luke and capture him. But yeah, losing your main character is pretty bad. Justin's been playing this deck a lot in 2021 at a lot of tournaments. I know he played it at Nationals. I think it seems on the surface pretty difficult, pretty easy to play because you just put Vader out of sight, but I think it's actually kind of hard because you need to make every decision is really important with this deck, especially when you're playing against a control deck like Old Allies or QMC, Diplo. It can easily spiral out of control if you're not able to get damage in. We see Emperor going down and something special. So that'll help grab another interrupt. Imagine Blaster Deflection will get grabbed. And I don't know what kind of deck. I guess we have lists somewhere maybe. But they had to lock their lists in. It's an interesting format. Locking your decks in way prior. Pretty standard stuff from Justin. Pulls allegations. Goldenrod came out because he didn't want him to Blizzard 4 with Vader to the Endor site. which he can do turn 1 instead of Emperor. Man, Emperor, I think Emperor really made this deck tick. Just getting the Ray text and him going back to your hand when he dies, he's pretty safe. It just, I feel like he was a huge reason the needle shifted on this deck. Gets out of Docking Bay, that was from reserve deck, and then he puts out Yoda's Hut, so it looks like he's playing the Our Only Hope. He's gonna pull the Death Star 2 a Chasm Walkway. So one thing interesting about this is if they fight on Death Star 2, it's pretty bad for let the Wookiee win because Emperor's power makes everyone deploy +2 to both sites. So it's a pretty big restriction. Sand comes out with Rey and Luke's bionic hand. I wonder if we'll see a character here. I don't think he has any need to put a character out. Gonna draw a few. Yeah, this is it's a mains versus mains matchups. Generally speaking, mains versus mains is all about how well you draw early, but there is a couple interesting decisions to make based on the sites because now that both decks, it's not like Hunt Down versus TRM or something. Both decks start a site, a battleground site. So, I would say that he's not playing. He has to play Luke. He can't play the defensive shield. So we're gonna see Vader go down, and then Luke go down to the other site, and then Maul's gonna try to kill Vader. That's kind of the. And then he's gonna try to get out. Once he kills Luke, he's gonna pull Coward, so he can't retrieve it. Try to get Grievous because he got a couple commands in his deck. Steal the stick, stack the site. But he probably doesn't have Vader, or he wants to capture Luke. So going to this site, which is the Forest Depths. He can't play Blizzard 4 there, which I imagine is his only vehicle. Simalu comes down. So Simalu allows him to have +X total battle destiny. It starts at 1 because X is the number of Dark Jedi at the same site. And then it goes up from there. It'll go 2 once there's 2 on this, etc. This card is pretty crazy. Like, it means, yeah, of course. It's pretty wild. Late game. It means your destinies just keep going up. So, Phantom Menace is good, but I think if he has, like, let's say he has Rey, that's an easy site to attack, and especially with Sand out. He has no character restrictions, so he can play Rey. He has Obi-Wan with stick, probably a Qui-Gon with stick. And I think you'd only want to attack Lord Maul with one character because there really isn't one non-Jedi character because there isn't much other reason to. Yeah, so there's actually 2 other games today. The rest of the Outrider Cup, yeah, 1 p.m. and 5 p.m. Eastern time. Yeah, it's pretty interesting. They're both forests, which are great for Wookiees if you're playing Wookiees. Yeah, that's true. So it's getting close. Um, Based on matchups alone, I think Justin will win this. That's just that's my opinion based on the matchup, but you never know. Uh, okay, an interesting thought about this deck. So people playing Our Only Hope, it allows you to play Dust or 2 Docking Bay, which allows you to play the new 3PO. So it gives you a lot of early pressure against in a race. So against like ISB, you can put 3PO in. I mean, you don't even have to use Luke, just like Ahsoka or just any rebel to the 2/2 Chasm Walkway, and you're pinging and draining. And I think a lot of people will only play Our Only Hope and the 2 sites. So activation wise, you're restricting yourself slightly. The old version played. Oh wow, we see R2D2V coming down. I wonder if he's gonna account for the +2 to deploy. I imagine 4 force for R2D2 is pretty expensive. And then Luke comes down because he's 6 equals according to this card. He does not cost more. But yeah, you restrict your activation. If you have the Council Chamber and the new Boo Boss Nass's Chamber, you get quite a bit more. But the trade-off is you only have one spyable site, which is your Endor, your starting site. It says, I wonder if Emperor is still glitched. We will find out. Because the Emperor sometimes does not allow you to allow him to be taken back into hand. I believe that happened in one of my games. I attacked. I was playing Rescue the Princess V, and I attacked Emperor, and then Emperor's text did not work. He didn't get to take him back, which was pretty significant in our game. So, um, this could be bad if it's glitched. Palpatine Emperor return, excellent. That's some great journalistic research there. Burm25 says the bug was apparently fixed. So he initiates a battle. He has R2 and Luke. He is swinging at Emperor because he's immune to attrition. He does not hit. He draws a 7. And he has to go for the Emperor because Simalu is not immune. So it doesn't really matter if he hits him. Coward is played. Correct. If he loses Luke, then which if his destiny is good, he probably will have to. Then he can't retrieve the stick with Walkling. Power is 9 to 5, and he gets 2 destinies. He needs to draw a 7 to clear. But he can take a card off his sand, which I imagine he'll do. This is a pretty interesting turn 2, though. A lot of so you can play R2D2V in this because if you play 3PO, the new 3PO, he pulls R2D2. So you can have a pretty reliable spy just going wherever you want him. Let's see actions to Miguel. Takes a card off sand. If he has Vader in his hand, that's pretty funny because he'll just drop Vader and start dueling. Which is probably the right play. Takes Rey off with sand, which will be a good way to attack Lord Maul. I don't know if he has to. I mean, if he draws a 4 here, he's not gonna lose Luke. If Justin draws a 4 here, okay, so he draws a 5. But if you lose Luke then and not R2, can he drain here? I think this says something about. One of these says something about it. Maybe not. Yeah, you may not force drain here. So it being a battleground doesn't matter much. He's just gonna keep it a battleground so he can attack it again. Yeah, that's a pretty. I think that's okay. He's got 2 sticks, I'm sure. 2 lightsabers for Luke. Yeah, he can play Luke as often as he wants. Drain of 3 at the 4th depths. Loses Fly Casual from hand, our only hope from hand. We know he has Chasm in his hand. He loses We're Looking for Me from reserve deck. Were you looking for me? There's Grievous. Yeah, that's rough. So I think now that he has Rey in his hand, that's going to be his big play. He's going to try to hit Palpatine and draw 4, or less risky, just hit Grievous. Can't drain there, so he could wait and try to kill Lord Maul, but which might be better, just so he's not taking damage. It's not ideal, but I don't think that happened. He did lose a card off top. In the battle with Luke, he did add a Destiny, and then he took a card off. Unless you're talking about the future. Profundity Docking Bay comes down. Profundity Docking Bay is an interesting new card. A lot of people think it changes things for needing activation because you have 3 docking bays instead of 2. It does have this tricky text. While Vader present, gains 1 icon. So it does cost a ton to get there. But if Vader goes there, it's an icon. And some people, you can sub out Hoth docking bay and not have a rebel base. There's certain cards that work with rebel bases, like Stormtrooper Garrison, for example. And then this, if it's free, I believe. So, theoretically, you could Vader over docking bay transit, and now it's a docking bay, or battleground. And battlegrounds, non-battlegrounds that get converted by a player into a battleground are pretty tough for the player who played it, because even if you clear it, then your character is at a non-battleground. So, yeah. But I don't know how much it's going to matter. I don't know how much it matters, really. I could see, like, Raltier Ops. You play Vader to Executor Docking Bay and move him over if you're trying to race someone. But ISB or something, but. Alright, so it's Miguel's turn. And he activated 12. Rey is 7 to the throne room. He probably has a Luke in his hand, or he can play Luke from his lost pile. But Luke won't have a stick, unfortunately. Luke and Ray is not possible. I think maybe just playing Ray and killing Maul would be the best play. Alright, so he puts Ahsoka to the Dark Forest. Forest clearing. Sorry. Grievous gets the Force Trade, but he cannot Force Drain at that site. He's playing Ahsoka and Luke to the Force clearing. Yeah, that's true. He wouldn't be able to initiate battle though, right? It'd be 7 and, or he had 12, 7 and 6, 13. This play is a little odd to me because if he does have Vader, he just captures Luke and kills Ahsoka, and then he wasted one of his one of his sands. And Vader can swing at Ahsoka no problem. There's blaster controls. Here comes Vader, I'm guessing. So he's just to be safe, but I usually you don't see barriers in this deck. Yeah, now he's swinging at +1 each. Probably has a blaster deflection, although I don't know. I feel like you wouldn't make this play if you didn't. I would have liked to see Ray kill Lord Maul. Or just go risky and go for Palpatine, get your stick back, but Weapon of the Sith just to be safe so he can't steal Vader's lightsaber. He did grab Our Only Hope with something special just to get those 4s out of his deck, I guess. He does usually plays 4 of them, so. Yeah, I'm not sure why he's conceding that site. Lord Maul Ray can just draw Destiny and kill him, so. Draws a 10 to hit a 6 and a 4 because they're +1 from Lord Vader's text. No blaster deflection. So he will probably Emperor's Power, force sand off, and now that he doesn't have sand anymore, he didn't really get good opportunities to use it. Now he's going to be drawing 2 in every battle, unless he plays like Rebel Leadership and General Leia, possibly. Alright, so he draws a 1. There's not going to be overflow. He needs a 3 for no overflow. And Miguel draws Yoda, a 4. They won by 1. There won't be a card stacked. But Lord Vader has control of Force Clearing, and Lord Maul now has a control of the Forest Depths. Ahsoka's dead. Luke is captured. 2 drains of 3. Yeah, Smokescreen will be pretty good. Alright, so Miguel activates 13. He peeled Maul's Sith Infiltrator. He must have lost it from his hand. Because there's no space, so they will be ditching all of their space cards. He has a ray in his hand. There's now no point in attacking the throne room. One interesting card that could change the dynamic of this game is a Drowler Fire. So he can attack into and do damage and clear. Qui-Gon's pretty good. Qui-Gon adds a Destiny with Lord Maul, but he needs to hit because they're going to be matching Destinies. And if he doesn't hit, he needs to draw a 5/4. He needs to draw 9 because of the Phantom Menace. 2 Destinies versus 2 Destinies will negate. He could play another character. Okay, so he plays Obi-Wan. Even still, I could see him peeling cards here. If he draws high. We will see. Qui-Gon swings at Lord Maul. There is no Drowler Fire, so draws a 4, needs a 5. And he hits it. Bish Shuffle. Desperate Reach. And then Lord Maul take a shot. Probably at Obi-Wan. They're both not immune. So you go for the easier target. There's a 5 because it's +2 if there is a Dark Jedi in a battle. When drawn for Destiny during a battle or duel involving a Dark Jedi, Destiny +2. He draws. We must accelerate. So he draws a 10, hits Obi-Wan. And then I'm guessing a pass and an Emperor's Power. And then we're going to Destinies. Loses no escape from the top. Doesn't need that. Would be nice, but not necessary. And he Emperors to pull a card into his hand. Alright, so 4. And a 4. Puts him at 19. So he needs a 12 out of 2 Destinies to not take Overflow. Justin does. Draws a 2 because it's +1 from Lord Maul. Oh, Sith Fury. That's helpful. And that means he'll have another Lord Maul, even though there won't be anything to attack. You can just put him down again because he's just that good. Draws 4 Lam for a 4. And Lana Dobry to sacrifice for a 5. So he has 9. He has a 16 to 19. It looks like he's taking 3 Overflow. I would even Gick here. I don't. He just probably uses only 2. Well, he probably has Ray still. So Ray solo could be bad, but yeah, it looks like he's just peeling. Plays a Jedi's Brilliance to take Qui-Gon back. This is where I think Drowler Fire would be a nice card to have because yeah, they do. They definitely do. I don't think in the long term it was the right play to play both Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon. If you didn't have Qui-Gon, he would have only taken 2 Overflow. And you'd have Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon still in your hand. When you're playing the back and forth game, you need to use your characters as effectively as possible. So Obi-Wan's only value there was to do 3 Overflow, really. And he lost a lot of value losing 2 characters. Alright, Justin's turn. We see a drain of 3. That is true. That's true. He did have 2 swings there. So, yeah, good point. Maybe it was the right play. It's a hindsight thing, right? Arca. So he drains for 3 at the forest clearing and puts Arca down, who is going to retrieve all game because Luke is captured. Present at battleground and Luke is not. So Luke is not technically present at a battleground, I believe. Someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but Arca is pretty good value in this deck because if you capture Luke, if that's true, I'm pretty sure it is. I don't play Bring Him Before Me enough to verify that 100%, but so Tarkin just went straight to the draw phase. He is drawing. That's 1, 2. He's drawn 7 cards so far. He has a 12 card hand, 7 saved, 13 in reserve versus 9 and 11. So they're both at 20. And Miguel has 2 cards up in hand, so it's 10 to 12. But he'll be down 3. So he's technically down a card. And then there'll be a ping damage for Justin. So they are pretty even. I don't know how much he has to do, Justin here. He has Lord Maul in his hand. He didn't put him down, probably because I think Miguel's only line to winning is draw their fire and just hitting him every turn. This is where the Emperor's power really shines. The retrieval's pretty bad. So he has to do something. Obviously, he has no characters on the table. So he drains. Justin drains for 3. Retrieves 1. Draws a few. Says go. Just show me what you got. Alright, Miguel is going to track a 5. He plays Bishuffle. Shuffles up Justin's reserve deck. Justin keeps drawing. He's got 15. Maybe he's drawing for a Gick. This is Kylo from hand. I wonder if we'll see Draw Their Fire come out. Alright, so he goes down to 3. Justin plays Failure at the Cave. This is for Grimtosh, so he can sink 2 cards that are important if he gets Grimtoshed. I'm guessing he has 2 Lord Mauls in his hand. That's a good point. Not being able to send cards back. Good tracking destinies. Yoda go down and Qui-Gon go down. I think he has a force field in his hand. I think he didn't use it because he had 2 sticks, so he would have done it on the second one if he missed. So I think we'll see a force field here, especially with a 14 card hand. Qui-Gon swings at Lord Vader. Nope, no force field. Alright, well he draws a 1. That's not ideal. That's not hittable now. He has 8 defense value, Lord Vader. So, because he's armed with a lightsaber, he has 8 defense value. So he needs to draw. If he would have just gone for the hit, we know he has a Abyss Shuffle, Desperate Reach. All right, there's the Blast for Deflection from Miguel. There's the Grab. Yeah, Vader's Anger would be at this point. I don't know if he even needs it. Just adds a Destiny and now that the hand disparity is so big, looks like he lost his Gick off the top. Yeah, I mean Force Field is just as good as a Gick, so there's Vader's Anger to add 3. That's gonna help him not peel a bunch of cards. He knows he's immune because he has only has a 5 on top. So it'll be 17 to 2 Destinies. I guess I haven't. Well, he shuffled his deck, so we don't know what's on top of Justin's deck. Vader's Anger is very helpful, though, especially as a used interrupt. Vader's Anger is an incredibly good card now. I want to play decks that use it just because how good it is. The follow is good. He adds 1 for each character, so you can just attack a massive stack, and it cancels like a bunch of stuff that's annoying. So I usually play 1 or 2 of them. So he draws Grand Admiral Thrawn again, takes him into hand with Sith Fury, another Sith Fury, and then draws Sith Probe Droid, which is a 5, and Yassine for an 11, and they tie. This is kind of impressive that he hasn't won a battle yet. Yeah, I heard that Justin's at work right now. Yeah, Vanny pulls some interesting cards. I try to make Vanny work in a lot of decks, especially because Vanny can pull like the shuttle and or Vader's ship or something. But, all right, we see another Jedi's Brilliance for Qui-Gon. He loses the Yoda even though he's immune because that's just a recipe for disaster. He knows he has Lord Maul stick in his hand, so yeah. Basically anyone can come beat him up. And I think we know that he has a let's see. As well, I don't remember. I think he at least has a Sith Fury and a Sith Probe Droid to track for a hit. So it does, yeah. This is where I love Draw Their Fire. Emperor's Power is going to be the big swing though in this game. We haven't seen a lot of characters from Miguel, so we haven't seen Padme, Lando. We know Rey's with sticks in his hand. Yep, so you can track a 9. Yeah, we see Lord Maul stick come down to the forest depths. And the Phantom Menace. Another Lord Vader would have been better, probably. Maybe. because it's immune. He's immune to 6, and then Ray can't necessarily clear. I feel like he's only got 5s in his deck, but this is probably just as good. Now he's playing Hear Me Baby, pulls Do or Do Not to send a 5 back into his deck. Justin draws a few. Plays Accelerate to pull and Accelerate, or none if it's not in there. There is an Accelerate in there. So now that we have 3, 5, 4, 5 in his deck, we know. Play Ray and Luke from Lost Pile to Maul and forfeit Luke. Yeah. He has a lot of options. This is also a situation where I second guess playing Bring Him Before Me, because you feel so powerful, and then and then like someone plays Draw Their Fire and just attacks with one guy every turn, and you're losing damage every battle for Emperor's Power. Qui-Gon comes back. We know he had Qui-Gon with the Jedi's Resilience. And he could put Luke there too. It's really a matter of if we think he'll hit. It looks like he's using. he used Bring Him Before Me to pull Luke, but there's not a Luke in his lost pile. But he had one in his hand. So now he's got 5 power up on him. It's really important here that Justin hits something or draws a 10. But I think he automatically is going to hit something. And Blaster Deflection is grabbed, so we know that he's not going to Blaster Deflection. Oh, well, actually oh no, he sunk a card, so he had 2. He can't Blaster Deflection, it would cost him 2. Alright, initiates battle. Qui-Gon Jinn swings at Lord Maul. Draws a 6.28. Needs a 3. Needs a 2. And draws a 5. So he hits with an 11. Yeah, so once this is over, you can swing over to JNAP's Twitch channel and watch Bastion versus Paul. Alright, so he does hit Lord Maul. I believe he's gonna swing at Luke, so we can clear the site. Well, he's swinging at Qui-Gon. That is probably a good play too, because you don't care if Luke just sits there. Draws a 9. And hits Qui-Gon. And he's force pushing. So that will cancel the battle and both characters will die. I don't believe he can Jedi's Resilience. Well, oh no, he might be able to. Yeah, you can. If you just lost a character. That sends a Phantom Menace back, and then Luke is stranded alone. Plays an Accelerate, probably just to sink a card back in his deck because he needs Force. Oh no, he takes an Accelerate, so it does not change Force, but he can track it. So now he has a 5 7 at 5-6 positions. $13 cards in hand. I imagine he has at least a 7 on top. Activates 10. Miguel pulls simple tricks. Yeah. EPP Kylo would have been great. Lord Maul does it too, right? And he's immune, so that's pretty big. Wonder if he'll play First Strike. I don't know if you'd even want to play First Strike, but he's shuffling his deck. I think he wants the 7 to go to the bottom so he can draw it as a Destiny. But I think he has a 5 and like 2 5s in there now. Oh wow, he's going for the finish. So he'll get. Yep, there's the First Strike. That seems right. And he can retrieve off of it, but he won't have force for it. So he's going to get 3 Destinies at 10 power, and as long as he hits, this should be the game. My mouse off the screen. Yeah, I think a lot of people play 2, probably 3. 3 in the deck. I have 3 in mine. Lord Maul is just filthy. Absolutely filthy in this deck. And you played 2 masterful moves. Yeah, he's GGing. Alright, that's the game. So it looks like it's all tied up. 5-5. Justin Desai took the game versus Miguel, Tarin 84. It was kind of interesting. If he would have hit Emperor, we might have had a completely different game on our hands, but yeah. Thanks for watching, everyone. And head over to Napolitano's channel to watch Bastion versus Paul? Is that what it was? Yeah, Bastion versus Paul. Thanks for watching.